Welcome to the full experience. This is an endeavor to catalog the greatest television and sometimes not so great television shows of all time to see if by watching 4 episodes, just 4 episodes, no matter how long the TV show ran, 4 episodes that will give us the cultural literacy to talk about that show as if we had watched most of its run. We are in the middle of testing this theory with Bonanza, one of the longest running shows on television. It's certainly got one of the most episodes runs. It's no Gunsmoke, but it's close. Ran from 1959 to 1973. And we are about to watch the worst rated episode as given by the ratings on IMDb. Season 7, episode 10, The Strange One, which first aired November 14th, 1965. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Hey, man, so just how poorly rated was this one? Brian asked very slowly while he goes to imdb.com to see.
I'm going to seriesgraph.com myself. 5.5, which is pretty bad.
Pretty low, right?
Pretty low.
Okay,
then
go ahead.
Only 4 other shows were rated below 6 in Bonanza's entire run.
I'm really curious why this did so poorly, because it's not that terrible. It's not that terrible.
I know,
it's
that's the thing,
fine.
right? I look at this so far and I'm like, this is not as good as last week's episode, the highest rated episode. But in some ways, I kind of preferred this to the first episode, which got a 7.1 on IMDb.
Well, because this one, the show had definitely found its voice. And this is an artifact that we keep seeing in the full experience, is the lowest rated episode very often. Well, sometimes it's a fine episode that just isn't paying off the big overarching thing, or maybe they break from format to try something interesting that looks great to our eyes, but didn't gel at the time. Or maybe in the case of The West Wing, it was just a format that was ahead of its time that would presage a type of form of I guess a mockumentary kind of thing. But it was a bit odd that they got spooky, but in terms of like that opening shot, they're like, these dudes are going to kill a chick and she's in a trance. That was like, wow, you have my interest, right? Now, granted, it got into, I was a bit surprised that Lauren Green is like hip to 20th century pseudoscience, the remote
the ESP
viewing
bit. Yeah.
But
I've read about this doctor in Europe.
yeah, right. I'm like, oh, have you? Whose work is that?
Yeah.
But it was like, why can't you be enlightened, you benighted savages? Not everything is a demon. Sometimes it's something real, like ESP.
ESP. Which, honestly, if this comes out in 1975, I'm not shocked at all. Because like in the 70s, ESP was taken very seriously. This is 1965. So this is even cutting edge for the ESP scene, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of phoning it in. I thought the main actress was good. She
was the same person who played the android lover in Star Trek's Requiem for Methuselah episode in season 3.
Oh, wow.
If you look it up, you'll see a picture of her in this like silver outfit with a big old ponytail and platinum blonde hair. But her eyes are exactly the same. You're like, oh yeah, that's definitely Marie from Bonanza.
They're like, well, your character, your motivation is just make those eyes really
make those
wide.
eyes, baby. that's your dinner bell right there. Yeah, she's clearly supposed to be Marie Laveau. I mean, she has a different last name, but this is the story of Marie Laveau, stretched and manipulated.
I actually don't know.
She is a legendary voodoo practitioner from New Orleans.
And so this is like a fictionalized, what if she
this
went
is
west?
Like they just called her Marie, but it's like, what if Marie Laveau was somebody's daughter and went out west on the wagon train instead? And it had some of the things that I have found to be very interesting about Bonanza, where it is culturally literate in a way I don't expect from a 60s television show. Like the sort of subtle, like, well, she's not bio people. She's actually, that's actually Creole. I'm Cajun. And they never use the word Cajun. They just talk about bio people. But it's like that is a distinction that most television shows at the time would not have bothered with. They would have been like, the French speaking people from New Orleans. And that's
I think
fine.
that was a bit of the stunt that they were doing. And maybe this is something that Bonanza did on the regular, but there was a pretty significant socially progressive, astute lesson in the highest rated episode, and maybe they were going for some kind of enlightened vibe on this one, even right down to the ESP thing, since it was so much before the pseudoscience hype cycle.
Yeah, somebody in the Bonanza writers' room was trying to elevate the content, but keep it entertaining, right? Like play both ends. Like it's cowboys and horse riding and guns, but we're going to slip in some interesting stuff here and there.
To be honest, some of the clues coming together with the stallion or whatever, that was fine, I guess. But I did rather enjoy seeing the spin cycle, the purity cycle of what would eventually could become a witch trial kind of situation, where it's like, I don't understand what's happening. All I know is that I'm hurting and someone's got to pay. And then watching the slight language change. And of course, I don't know how nuanced that they were going to get in this particular program, but you could see how it's like, if then. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, clearly we got a hanger. And not for nothing, I felt that visceral reality when they put the noose around her neck. It seemed like a serious thing.
Like, I think she's about to die. And even when Lauren Green's character, when Ben comes out, it wasn't the, again, in the 60s, you would have expected like, we can't do this, chewing the scenery. It was close, but it was not nearly as bad as I would have expected.
Although with her on the horse, they're about to whip the horse's butt. And so I'm like on edge about like, oh my God, that horse it's just going to go.
She's done.
Luckily, the horse did not react at all.
When he yells, stop!
No, he didn't yell stop. He fired his pistol.
Oh, right. He fired his pistol.
Yeah,
I thought exactly.
Last time I checked, that's going to cause a bit of a problem.
Would make that was a well-trained horse. Like you want a horse that will not leave the hangman's noose until you tell
or
it to.
even notice or something tells
you can shoot a gun next to this horse and he won't go until you tell him to. Also, not a clear-cut happy ending. And again, Bonanza with the like, it takes all kinds of people. We need to understand each other kind of message, but they didn't say, and she'll be fine. Like, do you think she'll be all fine? Yeah, sure. I bet she'll be fine.
There's one thing we've seen on Bonanza is at the end of the episode, the problem needs to go away.
Leave the ranch. You know what? She's off the ranch now. There's nothing we can do about it. Just pray for the best.
Deep Space Nine here. Like, how about this ship? It goes.
Yeah. Honestly, the music hilariously like playing up every time she got a vision was really bad. That was very cheesy and mockable. And it got a little draggy here and there. I was kind of checking to see how much time was left a couple of times. That's the worst I can say about it. Otherwise, I thought it was decent.
It was really interesting because when I was at Dragon Con, I did a lot of speaking on the skeptic track, and there's different vibes. Like 20 years ago, I would have been annoyed by the credulous kind of, hey, ESP is a real thing. But now I've mellowed so substantially that I don't know. I don't know how much of my affinity for this episode or my lack of repellence for this episode was just extracting after 4 days of
intense, like, yeah. No, that's a good point. I made this note, when they asked her about, like, wait, do you have powers? She lied to them by using the rational explanation. She was like, no. I talk in my sleep. Like, I can't remember exactly what she said. I wish I had written that down.
Game. It's a guessing game.
Oh, it's a guessing game.
Sometimes I'm right.
No, that's what exactly. She was like, yeah, there's no such thing as a medium. They just make clever guesses and sound like they know what they're talking about. That's me, good old clever guesser over here.
Meanwhile, I'm just like, wow, very genius.
I know. Yeah. I thought that was pretty great. But yeah.
Did you know? I did. I don't know how it got left in the script. I guess they needed a punch out of some variety, but like just out of nowhere, Michael Landon says, hey, anyway, I'm going to lie to you and tell you I had a psychic vision about a bet you should place. And then I'm like,
yeah,
is he
the
doing
comic
a bit?
relief scene.
Yeah, but then he rolled
What's
his
a brother
eyes with
for?
like he overplayed his disgust, and as a result, I'm like, hey man, don't be a jerk. What is this?
Yeah, hey, come on, Paul. I think the only other thing that struck me is, and I don't know if it struck you this way, but it did feel like Ben Cartwright stood a little closer to Marie than he needed to.
I think that given the actual ages of consent during that time, I was not as put off it as I
wasn't put off, but I noted it. That's I'll be like, Lauren Green.
I also noticed only one
scene.
time that I saw the shadow of production equipment appear on Lauren
really?
Green's
When
belly.
was that? Yeah, on his belly?
Yeah, it was at the end of a scene. He was crossing before it faded out. You could definitely see just a hard shadow. I don't know what it is, Tom. I think it has to do with, as a kid, I could never see any of that production stuff. And now having the experience and everything being filmed, transferred to above its intended level of quality. I just love it. I loved it in Miami Vice. I loved it in everything we're doing.
It's become a recurring segment on the Full Experience.
I hope you guys don't hate it, because
no, it's great.
It's my favorite mini game.
It always tells me something. And when you screen cap it's funny.
As a matter of fact, the opening scene, they had to, they're on the soundstage. And so to give kind of a grandiose kind of vibe, you want to kind of pan back from something. But because they're on the soundstage, they're panned in so close that, to be honest, it felt like Land of the Lost. I was like, that's a styrofoam block. And then it pans out. I'm like, oh, you were only able to pan back 4 feet and onto the soundstage.
Yeah. Well, and granted, 1965 televisions that were mostly black and white, they are not going to notice that. So yeah, it was a reasonable risk for them to take. Amos, what'd you think?
There was also a few scenes where there was clearly more than one sun in the sky, because the characters' shadows were going multiple directions.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that. Most of my problems with this episode were things that were like logical fallacies, like little things that just didn't make quite enough sense. But none of them were really that impactful.
You mean like that people have ESP?
I mean, like, how did the doctor know that her ankle was swollen, but he never took her stockings off?
He took them off screen before we
And then put it back on.
saw it. Yeah.
And then her ankle
as
got
you
worse.
would if you're a
Got worse
gentleman.
as the episode went on, because in the beginning she wasn't limping at all, but at the end she had a very pronounced limping around the house.
Yeah.
So little things like that were getting me. Thought the story was just okay, and I don't remember my viewing of the show when I was younger ever venturing into the metaphysical.
And maybe that's why this got the low rating, is it may be the only time, or one of the very few times they did. Yeah.
And then of course I watched with my wife, and at the end my wife was like, "Why are you going with your parents? They tried to let them kill you."
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I wonder. Hold on. Let me throw.
Mom
a little,
was real sorry.
Look, you guys know I'm a good card-carrying skeptic, except when it comes to corporate conspiracy theories. That's my blind spot. That's my. Let me throw this at you. Michael Landon was deeply religious.
Yes.
And this episode promoted a kind of pseudoscientific secularist explanation for what some more religious folks would consider, I don't know, pagan.
You mean the she-devil?
Man, there's some word I'm trying to access, but whatever. Point is, do you think Michael Landon was maybe annoyed by secular kind of pseudoscience instead, and it acted as though the religious folks were benighted, and maybe that's why? Wouldn't surprise me if Michael Landon really wanted to sell that snarky thing. That would kind of maybe pro witchcraft, as G. James B. says. Man, I don't know. My corporate conspiracy sensors say that should be the possible reason.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if I missed it, but did they ever explain the medallion?
Yeah.
She
was given she was given it by the woman who cursed her. The woman who predicted that she would always bring tragedies gave her that and said, "If you don't wear this, you will die."
Got you. I must have blinked really hard on that part.
Yeah. It really didn't carry any other meaning. It wasn't like I was like, oh, this is where she gets her visions and they're going to take it away from her and see if that, no, it was just like, yeah, I have to wear it or I die. And it's got a snake on it.
Well, and also
the worst MacGuffin ever.
Again, it's like I give so many passes because it's such a restrictive format. You have to have somebody who comes in after a commercial break who needs to get it immediately. Yeah. So it's like, have her pull out the giant medallion that says this.
And it lended a spooky air, right? Like, ooh, she's got that medallion with the snake. What's that mean, right? So a lot of people, that would just be expanding the spookiness of the episode.
Yeah.
Maybe
by the way, shouts out to Browncoat TBTH. Yo, word OVGG, what gangsta. I agree. I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. No, I thought that too. All right. Any other thoughts on Bonanza, the Strange One, season 7, episode 10?
No, I didn't hate it as much as I thought. Did you guys hate it?
I didn't. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating that this was like horribly underrated or anything, but I'm like, if this is the worst Bonanza, Bonanza was pretty good. Like, it was fine. It had weak spots, but it wasn't awful.
Watching this episode felt like work.
Yeah, it did get laggy for me at times. I agree with you there.
Like, usually when we're watching shows, even if it's a bad one, I can sit there and go through it and it's like, oh, this is the worst of my job. This isn't so bad. This actually felt like work. Like, oh, come on, can this episode just end? Can we just? Yeah,
it sounds like it was even leggier for you than it was for me. How about you, Brian?
If I'm oversharing, I had just gotten back from Dragon Con, and migraines, they can be triggered not just by stress, but actually when you kind of relax. And I had that come down after 5 days of stress. And so a visual migraine happened. So quite literally 30 minutes of it, I was not able to physically see the entire screen. And so I was playing multiple mini games, which probably gave it a little bit of a boost on there.
So our reviews are like little draggy, felt like work, made me blind.
Yep.
Got it. So that's the Strange One. We will be wrapping up Bonanza with the 4th of our 4 episodes, the final episode of Bonanza's series, which aired in January 1973, season 14, episode 15, The Hunter. So if you want to find that on YouTube or on your local fast TV service or DVD, you can join along with us. That is The Hunter, season 14, episode 15. You get these episodes early if you're a patron. So if you're not a patron already, go become one. Patreon.com/Cordkillers. We'll talk to you next time.
Maybe.